Welcome to another video from Cardboard East. My name is Jay. I play board games from Asia and share what I find with all of you. Today we're going to talk about Etariya Elvian Relics. Now before we begin, I do want to mention that this is a paid promotion from Mo Ideas. In addition to that, I have in the past developed and designed a game in their gaming catalog, so please take everything I say here with a grain of salt. This will be a review video. If you want to see the teach and play video, check out this video up here and you'll learn how to play the game and what it looks like. Here I'm just sharing my thoughts on the game, good and bad. But with that out of the way, I do want to say right up front, I think Etariya Elvian Relics is a really good Gateway Plus game. I would classify this as a set collection game. There is dice mitigation, but really these dice could just be trackers, could be just be tracks like on a player board, and instead they use dice. So yeah, and you don't really ever roll them except for the beginning of the game. So I'm not feeling comfortable saying it's dice mitigation. Now, while I do think that this is an excellent Gateway Plus game, I have questions. And I think that even though this game is still under development because everything's not finalized here, as you can see by some of the components, I think that how Mo Idea answers these questions that I have can determine whether I think this is an excellent Gateway Plus game or a modern classic and one of the best in their catalog of games. I feel that strongly about it. So, here are some questions. This game is called Etariya Elvian Relics, but where are the relics? The meeples. You have 3 meeples here. Why are they that shape? Why is the end goal a triangle? Is that related to Etariya? Why is the effect token shaped like a leaf that kind of looks like Taiwan? Is there a thematic reason for that? Why is the player token a totem pole? And if it is a totem, why can the totem move? Why is the player meeple not the character themselves? This is a world building game where they are building up the world of Etariya, and there are multiple lands and places within this game. But why do they all feel the same? Why didn't you make each one feel a little bit different? Why isn't the effect token not the relic token? Why are the effect cards not the relic cards? Why do we use these meeples at all when we have these great stand-ups with the characters? Why is it that when you tuck location cards underneath your hint card or player card, you tuck them in there because it's closed information, but it's really not closed information because it's open information and anyone can ask you what's in there. So you could potentially put 15 cards in there and then people will be asking you all the time, what card is that? What card is that? What card is that? What card is that? So why would you stash them underneath the hint card in the first place? Now, I do think that these questions are fair, and I think that depending on how Mo Ideas answers each of those questions, that this could turn a game from being really good to ultra amazing and excellent. That's how strongly I feel about those questions. Now, moving on to the game itself, the theme is kind of pasted on. Like, I know Mo Ideas spent a lot of time building up this world, but I don't feel that it's really heavily into the game. Like, I don't think that there's a ludological narrative going on here. And I think that if they answer those questions a certain way, they could totally change that. Art. The art here is phenomenal. Like, the art that went into the game is really, really good. That's what 2 big thumbs up here. I love games that have one giant piece of artwork cut up in between cards. I think that's just so cool, and I'm really happy that it's here and it's part of that. The UI of the cards are very, very clear. It's super clear what each card does. Even though this, the icons take up literally 2/3 of the card, it's ultra clear what you do on your turn. The meat of the review is the gameplay, and here's what I have to say. It's the effect cards are amazing. They really changed this game up completely. Each round feels fresh, new, and exciting, and you're trying to think of all these little combos that you could play and pull off. And certain cards in your hand, and you see certain effect cards, something just clicks, and all of a sudden you could score lots and lots of points for that particular round. Really, really cool. I love that you have scoring in between each round because it definitely makes the tension go up and down. Okay, I'm ahead, I'm a little bit behind, I'm ahead, and it forces you to really think about what you want to do. I really like the longest path for drawing more cards. I think that's really excellent because you might play sub-optimally just so you could draw free cards. You only get 12 actions in this game, and for each of those 12 actions, you want to tuck cards. You want to play a card down, and when you have to waste one of those actions to draw a card, like it's just not ideal. So you're always trying to find ways to draw cards. I like the fact that you have these cards that are here that have a draw symbol on it, so it forces you to play suboptimally. Like you want to maybe not do that to your die, but you really need to draw that card. And I find that balance there to be really, really interesting. And the added tension of, should I go there now or should I go there later? I have three. I could do my beginning, middle, and my effect. Which one do I value more importantly? Because these card spaces can be taken up and then I could be forced to walk a path that I don't want to. I think that is really interesting and really, really cool. One of my favorite games is Trois. I absolutely love Trois, but the thing that I absolutely hate about Trois is the first player. And when you have like a 4-player game and there are 6 rounds, like the first 2 players have a huge advantage because they go first. And that's how I kind of feel with this. Like while there's a 2-player game, I think that's totally fine. They each take turns going twice. On a 3-player game, the first player has this huge advantage because they get to go first. And this is something that I would just personally house rule as when you get to that 4th round, whoever has the fewest points gets to become the first player. That's just me. That's what I like to do because I find that to be a little bit more of a balancing. There is a good amount of replay value here, especially because of the effect cards. Now, you can play with just the 1. There are 10 of them in the game, so if you just play with 1 effect card and then 1 just pops up each round, that's only 4, and each game will feel pretty different. If you do the advanced where you see 2 effect cards, and I highly recommend that you do that, then you will see 8 out of the 10 every game, but they'll be in different orders. And that can really change up how you play each round. And I find that really, really exciting and makes each round feeling a little bit more fresh. Last but not least is like the tactics and strategy. Well, because the effect cards change every round, you can't have a prolonged overall strategy in the game. You kind of have to always take the best move at that time. Also, you can't control where your opponents are going, so they could totally block you and you'd be forced to walk a path that you don't want to walk. So I really like that added tension there, but that forces you to think tactically, like what's best for me at this point in time. Now, there is a little bit of strategy in terms of like long-term planning that happens in this game. Like if you could just decide I'm gonna go strong on purple, I'm just go strong on blue and just focus on those and keep those dice as high as possible. That is something that you can do, and that is one of the ways that you need to play in order to win the game. I will say that there's another problem that I have with the game, and that is if you get your die to 1, it's really painful, and depending on what effect cards come up in the following round, it could be really hard to get that 1 to go up. Now, you really need to plan ahead for that and be really careful when you go down to a 1 because, like I said before, it's kind of difficult to get out of that situation. But I do want to stress that it's not impossible. Like I have one game where I had one of my 4 dice was at a 1, and I don't know how I did it, but I did it. Other cool thing that I liked about this game is the solo mode. You could play this with up to 3 bots, just you and 3 bots all playing at the same time. That's really cool. In addition to that, the bot is actually really easy to control. It's very easy, like there's hardly any upkeep with that, and there's no flowchart for me to figure out what I need to do. And if you're playing like a 2-player game and you want extra bots there, you could totally do that. If you're playing a 3-player game and you want like a 4th-player bot in there, you could totally do that. And I think that's really interesting that they added that into the game. Now that's something that Mo Ideas has been really excelling at in the last few games, is that they've been doing a really good job with doing interesting bots that are very easy to upkeep. Not a lot of upkeep throughout the game. Now, I do want to mention that in the last video I didn't mention this, so I want to mention it in this one. There are optional plays for advanced play. On top of the effect cards, there's also these little tokens here, and what they do is that you can place these like in a circle, and this is the place where you put a card. So instead of a straight line, you can have them be a circle, and then the bot can move clockwise or counterclockwise every other round. That's really interesting because you can kind of loop around and maybe you can find the right path that you want. I think that's really cool. Second thing is that you also have like these little boost tokens, and these are tokens that you play once per game, and it allows you to have a double action, which can be really, really powerful, especially if you do it at the right time. In addition to that, there's also another way that you could use these little tokens here, and that's they could have them in a straight line, and there'll be 6, and then the players draft them and place them in order, which is a little bit too much for me. I think the basic game of having a straight line or the circle is also really interesting. But it's there if you want to explore it, and you can explore it not just with friends, but with bots. Now, it is always hard for me to come up with rulings for games that are still not fully finalized yet, but what's here is actually really, really good, and I think it's definitely worth looking into. Now, there are 2 Etariya games on this Kickstarter. There's this one, and the other one is like Chroma. I think I said that right. And I like this one a lot more, significantly more. The other one is a very lightweight 2-player abstract game, and I've played that game before, and I talked about it in the SM preview way back when in October, September. So I'll put a link to that video, and you can just check that out. But this one is leaps and bounds by far so much better, and I really, really appreciate the amount of detail they went in here. I just hope that they incorporate the theme and the world building that they work so hard to build, and incorporate that more into the game and have everything make more logical sense. Great game, great theme, definitely give it a try. I'll put a link down below, and you can check out the Kickstarter campaign. Once again, gamers, my name is Jay. I play board games from Asia and share what I find with all of you. I'll put some links here to some videos that I think you'll enjoy. See you there.